15.
So, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, goodness me, aren't we lucky that our political class is so talented and so values-driven and so charismatic that Messrs Cameron and Miliband can do without those two on their front benches. We must have a surfeit of eloquent, engaged... Aren't we lucky, ladies and gentlemen? Aren't we lucky in this country? Emily, that was, even for you, it's something about freedom, isn't there? There's something about, the uncaged birds. They sing particularly beautifully. Russell Brand, eat your heart out, Emily. And you know what else? She will never tell you not to use your vote. Yeah? There you go. Yeah. Oh, so I get the little lame rounds of applause. It's fine. This is because I've got such fantastic friends. So you've heard from 4 of my fantastic friends with whom I don't agree about every little thing, but I tell you what, we have values in common. We believe in fundamental rights and freedoms. These values that unite us and unite the whole human family, not because we're good or we're bad or we're suspect or we're British or we're French or we're Russian or American, just because we're human. You heard from the wonderful... Do you remember Bella Sankey? Do you remember her? We heard from Bella Sankey about the nonsense of nothing to hide, nothing to fear. Yeah? Until you're a peace protester who found that there were policemen, not just in your life, but in your bed. Nothing to hide, nothing to fear. We heard from Janice about how you thought you were living your ordinary life, and your son was a little extraordinary, but he was doing so well, and doing so well that the Yanks should have recruited him to sort out their cybersecurity, not turned him into public enemy number 1, and what she had to do. And that is a chilling story, but wasn't it an uplifting story as well in the end? Because it was her passion and her solidarity and human rights that saved Gary in the end. And you heard from Dominic about his father and his family values and how they lead him to treasure hard-won rights and freedoms. We hold them on trust for our children, but we didn't, they're not ours to give away. We hold them on trust for our children, but they were handed to us by previous generations, and they were paid for, ladies and gentlemen. They were paid for in courage and blood. And then, of course, you heard from Emily Thornberry. And doesn't she? Yeah, she's going strong, isn't she? We don't need to worry. Don't worry too much about my friend Emily Thornberry. These are my friends. These are human rights people. And what are these rights and freedoms that we all treasure in common? The right to life. The right not to be subject to torture and inhuman and degrading treatment. The right not to be a slave. The right to have your physical liberty protected so that you're not subject to arbitrary detention without charge or trial. The right to a fair trial. The right to respect for your personal privacy and your family life. Freedom of conscience. Freedom of speech. We're enjoying that, aren't we, tonight? Well, mine is free. Yours is a little more expensive. You're listening. Freedom of association. And perhaps most importantly of all, equal treatment under the law. There was a great judge who died prematurely just a few years ago. His name was Tom Bingham. And he once set out all of those rights and freedoms far more eloquently than I ever could. And he ended by saying this: there may be some who would like to live in a country where these rights are not protected, but I am not one of them. Please join Liberty. Please have a look at the book, and thank you so much for coming tonight.